Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Bovin. First off, I just want to start off by saying tonight's guest, Jordan, will not be joining us tonight. We had some scheduling conflicts, so I apologize in advance now. I'm sorry about that. I really do. I can't say sorry enough, so I apologize for that. Anyways, so we're going to make some announcements and kind of leave the door open for anybody that does want to join the show for tonight. If not, we're just going to kind of go over just a quick couple of things, and we'll kind of leave tonight's show a little short for tonight, I guess, if you want to say it like that. Anyways, just like a normal spiel, like I always say, this is the show for the outdoorsmen and the hunters all alike, so we can get together, share stories, hunting stories, and learn strategies and tactics and become better hunters and better outdoorsmen and better human beings altogether. With that being said, though, make sure you use the code GP10, GP10. Get 10% discount off Gilly Puck products. Also, make sure to check out MAGNUS BROADHEADS and Grizz Media. And make sure, if you can, greatly appreciate it, and give us a 10-star rating on Carbon TV. So don't forget, we're also on that platform as well. If anybody ever wants to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to me and our social media platforms, or you can send an email to brettbovin@whitetailadvantage.com. Anyways, like I said, there's some stuff I just kind of want to say. We'll make it fun, light show. Won't be that long, 15 minutes at most, 30 minutes if nobody wants to hit me up, no one wants to join the show. There is a couple things, though, I did want to say is I was mowing my yard the other day, and I noticed some leaves were on the ground. And I was looking up in the trees, and I was like, oh, man, some of them are turning fucking brown already. I'm like, crap, it's already beginning of August. Hunting season's right around the corner. Here in Michigan, the weather it's turning my favorite weather. So for me, my favorite type of weather outside of the 50 degrees, it's 65, a little cloudy, some sun here and there, where I can wear shorts and a sweatshirt. To me, that just feels amazing, and you just can't beat it. Anyways, there are some announcements, though, I do want to make, and we're going to be trying some new things here in the studio. So we're going to be playing around with that here tonight. Anyways, the first things first is September. Let me check the date real quick. It's going to be the last Sunday in September. Let me just double check the date. It's going to be the 29th, so I'm glad I checked. We're going to be doing a live show on Sunday, September 29th. So everyone, send in your trail camera photos that you want us to display and come on the show. And we're going to sit down with everybody that sends in a photo of the deer that they're going to be potentially trying to go after this year. And we're going to make a fun last show, because we are going to be taking the October off and the beginning of November off, so we can focus on hunting season, relax, kick back, and spend time with our friends and family and enjoy the hunting season. So again, send in your trail camera photos of the deer that you're going to be potentially going after, and we're going to make it fun. We're going to make an announcement on our social media platforms. And also during the season, we're also going to be possibly doing a show on Sundays. We're going to be trying to call it the Successful Hunts, where people can come into the show. We're going to talk about the hunts that they've had and that made them successful, and just have a fun show throughout the hunting season. And on Tuesdays, we might be doing a random topic show. We aren't sure yet exactly what we want to be doing with that, but we're going to be trying to have fun during the hunting season. Anyways, with that being said, I do have to point out, because hunting season, though, it seems like it's gone in a flash and it takes forever to get here. And every time hunting season ends, this is how I feel. This video clip right here.
wanna die, dude.
What the hell is going on with you, man? Something's going on. It's like my heart hurts. Let's go, man. Now.
I'm sorry.
Now.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just so sad.
Stop.
It's just the best video clip of that whole movie. It's just amazing. Whoop. I apologize for that. Anyways, yeah, I just feel so sad. I just feel so sad when hunting season is just ending, and whether I get a deer or not, it's just sad. So, anyways, there is also another video clip here that I want to play. It's a teenager out of Florida, and he assaulted his teacher, and the mom of the kid that assaulted his teacher, I'll play the video here in a second, started blaming the school system. And I was really pissed about it because she kept going on and saying in the report of the article that I was reading, saying like, well, they took his Nintendo DS or whatever, and that was his trigger, and they should have known that. I don't know the whole story. All I saw was a video and what she said. But for you to blame the school system because of this woke culture now that we live in, of blaming somebody else for your problems, it's sad. So I want to play this video clip right here, and it's disturbing. So I don't know. So people listening to audio, it just, they're in like a library, and he's just punching her head into the ground, and there's people kind of just, they're eventually trying to get him off now, and now he's kicking her. I don't know what to say to that. For the mom to blame the school system of, well, that was his trigger, so why would you do that? Why would the kid assault the teacher? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. These days it's sad. So, oh, it looks like we got potentially a guest that wants to come on the show tonight. So let's try and kick him on here in the show here. Let me send him a link to the show here. So give me 1 second, everybody. Good buddy now of mine. So I'm looking forward to him possibly jumping on here. Let's get him here on the show here. Send him an email. All right, let's get the link there. Doing multiple things here, so apologize for that, everybody. All right, now we got in that. Let's pop him on the show here. Let's wait a second. Also, another announcement here is here in Michigan, I was kind of reading some of the article here in Michigan that they did some more regulations, and one thing that stood out to me was that Timmer was quoted saying, "We have a doe population problem and we need to deal with it. If we could go to a one buck state in just a handful of years, we would revolutionize the quality deer herd in Michigan." No shit. Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me?
What
There we go.
How's it going, my man?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Just enjoying the show here.
Awesome.
Anyway, wasn't going to come on, and thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Yeah, I just got back, so I figured, what the hell?
Hey, I know you said you didn't have much time. I don't want to take up too much of your family
you're
time that you
good,
got
man.
going on, so we can kind of keep it short.
Yeah, no, we're good. No, I'm just doing the family thing, but hey, man, got to try to help out where I can, you know? You know?
Well, Dave, I know you and I have been talking. You want to give a quick little background about who you are?
Yeah, so my name's David Heath. I grew up actually Baldwin, um, 55, kind of, it's just been hunting and fishing, and, you know, it's Michigan, the typical Michigan guy, you know? If you ain't hunting or fishing, what are you doing, you know?
Exactly. And I just I read part of the article here, and obviously you know what's been going on here in Michigan with our deer herd, and it's a fucking atrocious and shit. But this article by I can't remember who wrote it, whatever, but they quoted this Chad Timmer guy, and he stated, "We have a doe population problem, and we need to deal with it. If we could go to a one buck state in just a handful of years, we would revolutionize the quality of deer herd in Michigan." Well, no shit. We haven't been saying that for fucking years
Yeah.
as hunters, and half the stuff that as hunters that we like we want to see changed or fixed, they're like, nah, we'll just extend the archery season here in a couple areas.
Yeah, which really doesn't do anything for the problem, you
No, it
know?
doesn't.
You know, there are certain areas that have high doe populations, but for the majority, I think most of the state has a high doe population, probably minus maybe the UP that
Hmm.
has, you know, from the problems that they have. But, you know, I've seen more deer in general this year on the side of the roads than, gosh, almost since like the 80s when, you know, they were just everywhere.
Well, I also think like in the UP, if people don't know Michigan, and especially if they don't know about the UP, there's not a whole lot of people that live up in the UP, so I can understand that problem. But there's two big problems. I've said this before. Hunters are aging out, and the other problem is kids are not going out. I mean, you and I have texted about this for a while, and parents don't want to get their kids outside and enjoy the outdoors. And even if they don't get into fucking hunting, they're not even getting them outside. They're just letting
No,
the phone and TVs and tablets be their babysitter, basically.
but that's what it's come to.
Mm.
You know, it's a lot easier to say, "Hey, here's a PlayStation" or "Here's your phone" than actually have to go outside. I mean, it's just to the point where if they don't want to hunt and fish, fine. At least like be outside. You know, do something outside. You know, it's just crazy now how technology has taken over. Like we
It,
never had video games or cable TV when I grew up. I remember the 2600 Atari came out and it was like the latest greatest thing, but you know, after about an hour, you're like, yeah, let's go outside.
right.
You know.
And when I was growing up, we had like the PS1 or whatever. The
Mm-hmm.
only time that we really played it was like at night, or mainly our main time that we played it was like in the wintertime. That
Yeah.
was really it.
Yeah.
And nowadays you got TikTok taking over everything. And I swear I hate TikTok. So
Yeah.
it's not even it's a big problem because it's taking away kids from going outside, but it's also affecting their attention span because I was reading this article about the scientist posted. He goes, yeah, kids these days that watch these 20-second or less video clips, they watch anything that's longer than 5 minutes. Their attention starts going off in a different la la land.
Yeah. It's almost like they're inbred to ADHD.
Hmm.
You know.
And
You
then
know.
then they want to start saying, well, your kid's got ADHD or he's got all these other problems. It's like, no. And they want to start throwing fucking drugs at him. It's like, no.
Yeah.
And I actually texted you this morning was these kids are basically just like puppies. They just have all this energy and they need to burn it off. Throw them outside, let them burn energy, run around, do whatever. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Like the body hasn't changed. It's the mentality. They
Hmm.
still have the same energy they had when I was a kid, you know. But we were, you know, basically get your ass outside, don't come back till dark kind of thing, you know, which we were cool with because I lived in the country. And one of my best friend Dan, who I grew up with, and he's the one that I primarily when I hunt. I hunt with him, that it was just you up there. You kind of didn't have a choice. I mean, we didn't live next to a town or a city. If you wanted to ride anywhere, you were on a bicycle, and we found our own stuff to do. You know, building stupid stuff, forts, digging holes. You know, hunting and fishing basically is what we did every day. And then when school was out, it was like, let's go. You know,
Yeah, that's
brought
how
our
I was.
guns and our bows to school, and as soon as school was out, gone. You know.
Yeah, I remember going outside and making tree forts, and heck, there was a bush type thing at my parents' house. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a cool fort out of this. I found anything I could do outside. I was riding on my four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and heck, in the wintertime, me and a couple buddies would tie a string to the four-wheeler and then tie a sled to it. Like, all
Yeah.
right, let's go up and down the road. And
Oh yeah, yeah. We used to do that with my uncle. We used to tie a canoe behind the wood truck and go down the dirt roads, and it was fun until you go around a corner and you had to duck because you know you're gonna break your neck.
right.
But you know, I mean, it's the kind of stuff we did. You know, and it's funny because like we moved where we're at. It's in the suburbs of like Rockford is where it is, northeast of Grand Rapids. And they have in a park. They have a really nice park that's part of the association, a pool. And we moved here thinking, you know, our kids were little, that there's going to be a bunch of kids to play with. And the first probably 6 months they were there, I was like, holy shit, there ain't no damn kids in this whole association. And it's a huge association. And then when the pool would open, all of a sudden I seen kids. I'm like, where in the hell do these kids live? And I never saw them. At wintertime, it was like a ghost town, you know? And it's because they're inside all the damn time. They
Mhm.
don't do nothing but phones and video games. And that's it. You know, I
And
mean, if you don't get them out, I mean, that's kind of where it's going to be. Everybody's effectuated, like you said, with TikTok. I can't stand TikTok. I will never have TikTok. It just pisses me off.
it
You
does.
know,
It pisses me off too. And I I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it till the day I die. Kids these days, and they always say the generation before you, or the generation that you're in, of, well, you never had like our generation, and our generation's the best and stuff like that. But I swear, my generation and above were like king badasses. The generation behind me, and for future generations behind me, they are trying to make the quote unquote the alpha male a bad thing, and
oh
they want
yeah,
to make everyone into this soft,
yep,
woke people, and
it
taking
is.
men and turning them into fucking pussies, basically. And
Oh
I
yeah,
swear, I say this all the time too to my wife. As long as our kids just give, they're gonna give 110% because that's just the bloodline that they have, and that's the mentality I want to instill in my
yeah.
kid. But if they give just 50% at whatever they want to do and to achieve it, they're gonna run over all these soft kids.
Oh, they're everywhere too. It's just like it's like a plague. You
Yeah.
know, it's just crazy, and they don't want to work. Like my kid, he works at Myers. He just pushes carts. You know, he needed a job. He's got to pay for his own insurance and spending money. And I'm like, hey, I don't care. You know, you want a job, you get a job.
Mhm.
So he was telling me that like the turnover ratio there, he was just flabbergasted that people will like work for 2 or 3 days, and he came home one day. He's like, dude, you're not gonna believe this. This dude worked for like 3 days, just long enough to so he could buy V-Bucks, and then he quit.
Are you kidding me?
No, and I said, yeah, and I said, you know what the difference between you and him is? You're gonna have shit, and he's gonna be living in his mom's basement at 50. That's the difference.
Right.
If
It,
shit hits the fan, for God forbid anything happens, they're gonna be the first ones weeded out.
exactly. And
They're gonna know what to do. Can't
and
fix
I
it on your phone and your video game.
and I get it. Nobody wants to work. Working sucks. I can't stand going to fucking work, but I gotta fucking do it
Oh
to pay
yeah,
the bills, and that's just the adult responsibility when you have a wife and a family to take care of. But
it's
say
exactly it.
even if you're a single person and and you're living with your parents, which I did that when I was in college and I first started in my full-time career. I stayed with my parents and I was banking money. I was just saving up money. If you're doing that and living with your parents, great. That's a fucking smart, genius idea.
Yep.
But if you're just living with your parents and living in your basement and mooching off of them and not want to do shit, you're a lazy fuck, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the rule in our house. You're either going, like my oldest, he's in the military. So you go, if you don't know what your career path is, I said, as long as you're working and as long as you have a job and you try to figure out what you want to do, I says, you can live in our house, save money, go buy a house. Don't be one of these kids that rent for 50 years and you don't have nothing. I said, save your money, your car, get your car, and figure out what you want to do and stay here while you're doing it. You just, no freeloading. You got to earn your keep. Still got chores, still got rules, but you can do it if you want. That's the part of the problem. There's too many, how would you say that? Everybody gets a winner ribbon.
Yeah,
Which is
participation
part,
reward.
yep. Yeah. I mean, it's like if you fail, no, you got to toughen these kids up because the world is rough. The world, you get out there in the real world where you got to work. They're not going to give you anything. You got to earn what you have. And I mean, if you're one of the people, the mentality, you just want to survive, that's fine. As long as you have a job, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I'm not supporting, kids if they ain't doing nothing.
Right.
Then go somewhere else and do it.
When I was growing up, and my parents they made a rule with me was you don't have to work when you're in high school if you don't want to, because they had to
Yep.
work in high school, and they're like, no, we want you to enjoy your time in high school, be a kid. But
Yep.
if you're gonna play your sports, which I did, obviously, you better be a kick-ass sports player, and you better bring home A's and B's. I'm not gonna settle for C's and D's. So that
Yep.
was the main rule, and they said we'll pay for your stuff that you want. Outside of that, if you start fucking up, you better get a job. And then I started getting a job, and that's
Yeah.
me and my wife are kind of like on the same page with that, where we want them to work. If they don't want to work, but they better be doing something
Yeah.
of what matters, I guess, to them. Or let me take this back. We're not going to force them to work if they don't want to, but if they want to work, we're not going to tell them no, don't work. But we're going to tell them,
Yeah.
be a kid though, enjoy it, because as soon as you graduate high school,
It's over.
It's over. You're in adulthood now.
Yep.
You're gonna have a job for the rest of your life, basically. And then with this economy that Biden's fucking running, we're gonna be working till we're 100. So,
Yeah. That's a fact.
and then I just showed this. Have you seen this kid out of Florida that beat up his teacher?
I seen one about 3 months ago.
This
It was
happened
like a
like
middle schooler or something, beat up a male teacher.
no, this was a female teacher. I'll
Oh
play.
no. Oh, was it in the hallway?
No, this one was in the library.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
I'll play it here in a second, and then I'll tell you. Actually, I'll play it and I'll tell you what the mom said about the kid. Again, if you're listening to this on the audio, this 15-year-old kid is just beating the crap out of this woman's head, and these three women are like, they don't know what to do, and this one dude finally comes over, knocks him away, and these two women are like holding him like in a comfort type deal,
Mm-hmm.
and now they finally get him off of her. And the mom said in the article that I was reading, she said, I blame the school system for this. They failed him. They knew why they take because that teacher or something took his Nintendo.
Probably
And
because he wasn't listening. Yeah.
it probably. And she said, why would you take that? That was his trigger And that's what caused him to fight them. So that was on you guys. And now he got sentenced to like 5 years in prison.
Yeah. And it's not even on the kid. You know, in reality, it's on the parents.
Exactly.
You know?
I blame the parents and I blame the kid. I blame the kid
Yeah.
because he should have the fucking decency of like, it's the parents for like, you listen, you need to pay attention. You gotta listen to your elders. You gotta pay attention in school. You can't just I don't know. You just can't be going around doing this shit. And for this kid to beat up his teacher because he just took his Nintendo, because
Yeah.
I'm going to assume he wasn't paying attention in class or he did something, whatever. So you're gonna go fight the teacher and you're gonna blame the school system for them doing it?
Yeah. When your
Take
parents didn't
accountability as a
instill the
parent.
rules.
Like,
Yeah. It's all unless you got a mental disability, it's on the parents.
yeah.
You know, it's your job to raise them kids. You know, and it's kind of like with my kids. You know, didn't force them to play sports. My 17-year-old loves sports. He plays, and my oldest, that's in the Marines, he wasn't into sports, but he's smart, and he liked to read and that kind of stuff, which I didn't care. So we went youth hunting one year, and the first year behind my uncle's, we were late. Of course, we slept in, so we got out there at like 9:20. By 9:30, he dropped a doe. And after that, he realized that wasn't for him. And I'm like, that's fine. And now he's wanting to think about getting back into it. But he likes, you know, he does his own thing. And that's kind of like with my 17-year-old. He's he's a lot like me. He loves hunting and fishing. He loves technology, but I try to haul that back because I'm not playing that game. So he kind of had to go through a spell when he realized it's more fun doing shit outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, now it's like we're already getting him set up. I mean, I get the credit for 17. He's got balls. He found some old lady that's friends with his grandma up north, and she's got a bunch of property with a bunch of deer on it. And he just went up, took the side by side over, and says, "Hey, do you care if I hunt? I'll do yard work or whatever if you want." She's like, "Yeah, you can hunt." So now he's got this prime spot. Nobody's hunted in like 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what we're working on now. I'm setting a stand at sticks, and we're getting his bow all tuned and getting ready to rip and roll. And hopefully this weekend or next, we're going to go up and set some trail cams for him, see what we got up there, if anything. And his goal this year is, because he said last year when he got his permission for the first time, he probably seen about 50 does.
Wow.
And I said, and he's like, this year, you know, I kind of explained to him he didn't want to shoot does right away because he's been spoiled, because dad said him his first 2 years in the youth hunt, he killed a velvet spike within 20 minutes. And then the next year, within an hour, he killed a 3-point. So he's got this thing where he's only going up. He's not going to shoot the same. He wants to get something bigger than the last year he shot.
Yeah.
Last year, he kind of did his own thing a little bit. I kind of helped him out. And then he kind of realized that, hey, hunting isn't really as easy as I thought it was. I just don't show up and shoot something. So now he's spending a little more time with the education, and he's actually digging it because he's actually understanding the deer more. And now he knows that, hey, I got to take some does out. So I said, I will help you with doe tags, because the $20 I think is fucking stupid. For the average person, nobody's going to spend $20. What can you shoot? 9 does this year or something like that, or 5?
Yeah.
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 I mean, you're going to spend 100 to $120. I mean, not the average person is going to want to do that.
And if they, like we said earlier, if we have this big doe problem, I mean, we were talking to, I can't remember who said it, but I think it was Eddie. He's like, they started a bear hunt out there, and they made their tags like $2 for those bears. And
Oh
I
yeah,
know
I
it's
was
kind of
listening.
different,
Yeah.
but I was
Yep.
like, if we have this huge fucking doe problem, which I'm not disagreeing, but you're gonna pay. I'm not saying $20 is expensive, but for the average person, $20 these days, thanks Biden for the economy, fucking asshole.
Exactly.
$20 is a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, at $5 a gallon or $4 a gallon each time.
Exactly.
You
So
know.
cheapen that up, make it worth people like I'll go buy if you put it to like $5, $10. All right, let's go
It
$10.
wasn't that long ago. It was 9, if I remember.
Yeah. Let's do that. We'll go back to $10 for a doe tag.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'll buy fucking 80 of them.
Oh gosh,
8 of
yeah.
them.
Yeah, and anything I don't eat, they got all this help the hunters kind of thing, feed the hunters,
Exactly.
that they do. You just drop, if you don't want to eat it, drop it off and get somebody out there needs it and will be glad to take it. I mean, we eat a lot in our house, so I don't know how much will get donated, but if that opportunity arises, I mean, there is things you can do with it. You just don't shoot it and leave it.
But I think you also I just had a great fucking point. Now I lost it. Where you say hunters are not going out there, they're not hunting anymore because they're phasing out, and they try to say, well, a majority of the hunters out there now, they're just out there trophy hunting, and they don't want to get the meat. I agree with that statement because
Hmm.
if you are allowing us to shoot all these tags for does, and you got the people out there that want just to get meat in the freezer for those type of hunters that are just shooting out there for meat, you have no excuse basically now at this point. I mean, I get it. The does here in Michigan, I've talked to some other hunters. The doe here they're freaking smart. I say they're geniuses. They're hard to hunt. They're hard to
They're as
shoot.
hard as a mature buck.
They are. I think they're 10 times harder, but
Yes.
you can't use that excuse if you're out there as
No.
a hunter and you're like, well, I'm just out here for the meat. You're a fucking liar because you can go buy doe tags as many as you want, basically. I
Yeah.
can't remember the exact number, but you can buy a fucking handful and go shoot a bunch of fucking does and fill your freezer up for does. The majority
Yeah,
of
and if you
hunters
can't
out
do
there
it with a
now,
bow, get your rifle where you can shoot 300-400 yards. There's no excuse.
exactly. You have the opportunity to fill your freezer. Majority of hunters out there now, they want to shoot a big buck because of social. I can never say that fucking word.
Yeah.
Social media purposes because they want to feel and solidify themselves as a real hunter. And that's what I think is another problem
Yep.
with this in Michigan, especially of they're out there trying to solidify themselves as a true hunter. Like, look at this giant buck that I shot or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the hunting shows have gone to that.
Yeah, it's like if you don't shoot a 140 or 150 plus deer, we don't want to sponsor you, whatever. Like,
Yeah. You're not a hunter. You're not a
yeah, you're
real
not hunting.
deer
Like,
hunter. And you'd be like, well, I've killed like 100 deer. How many have you killed? Well, I've killed 10, but they're all like 150 class. I'm like, yeah, so what?
th-
You know?
they're feeding into this problem of like we want hunters to get into it and enjoy the sport of actually just hunting and deer camp,
Oh,
but
those days are gone.
they're
The-
long gone because all they
yeah.
care about is
Because
going out there to be on the social media.
Yeah, because my uncle is who's the one who got us. Because my father was not a hunter, and I don't know if the war was the reason why he never got into it, but it was everybody else in our family were deer hunters. And where we lived, we had 10 acres, and then right behind us, my uncle had 10 acres. And it was I look forward to opening day of deer season more than Christmas as a kid because you walk through them damn woods. There was like 20 people. They're all uncles and cousins that you didn't see for a while, and all everybody did is told hunting lies and stories, and you had a big meal. You got up early in the morning, you had a big breakfast, and you walked to your spot. And and there was no back then. No, it was. I mean, if you shot a nice buck, it was kind of like, yeah, that is awesome. That's a big buck. But there was no, we're going out hunting big bucks. Yeah, it was like, nah, we're going out shooting stuff with 4 legs and it's brown.
Right.
And you came back with a 4-point or a doe, it was like you just won the lottery. Everybody's like, yeah, that is so awesome. And it was. And then as I got older, I kind of noticed it a little teetering off in the early 2000s. And then like now it's just everything is geared towards everything out there in the hunting industry. They use as a ply to kill big bucks. The ozonics, and you can't kill a big buck without that. What is that? The red moon shit.
Oh, that red moon phase app.
Yeah, you got to buy this app to get the red moon phase because the big monsters don't come out until you get this app, so you know exactly when they're moving. Which, kind of to a point, it's certain, yeah, because Halloween seems to be the time where the mature bucks, where you're most likely in Michigan, where I've seen them. But it's kind of like they're brainwashing the new generation of people that if you don't buy the Sitka gear and the scentlock suits and the ozonics and spend all this money on these apps and cell cameras, which I use cell ones, but they pushed it more commercialized than actually just getting out in the woods and freaking hunting.
Yeah, like it's a ploy, like you just said. Like they'll show you this dude or woman, whatever, shooting this 200-inch class deer, and they're like, "Oh, thanks to ozonics, it helped me cover up my scent."
Yeah,
and that's what helped me shoot this. I'm like, bull fucking shit. Like you just said, they make you seem like you gotta spend all this X amount of money to get this. In my opinion, most of it's a bunch of fucking crap.
Yep, it is.
And just to shoot giant deer,
Yeah.
no, just go out in the woods,
Yeah.
study the deer in your area, and figure out what they're doing, and try and capitalize. You don't need all this extra crap. You don't need to spend $2,000.
No.
Just go out there and know the deer in your area, because you also have to know, like I just said, you have to know the deer that are operating in your area. You can't look at what someone else is doing in a different state or a different fucking county or a different part of the state. The deer on your land are going to be operating on a different level or different waypoint than deer anywhere else. So you have to know the deer that are moving on your property.
Yep, especially pressure deer. That rattling and calling stuff that people like down in Kansas and Missouri, all of a sudden you see 180 class, I rattled them in. You ain't doing that on public land.
No,
they're pretty much running the gauntlet 24/7. So,
well, Dave, like I said, I know you got some family time, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to actually have a full episode with you. I feel like we kind of go on this rant, I guess if you want to call it.
We can go for a week, man.
I can go for a while too, man.
That and the DNR just pissed me off.
Same here.
It's a damn cash grab, what it's turned into. It's like a corporation. They turned into Myers and Walmart is what they've turned into, instead of actually giving a crap about the deer population and the quality of deer. Like, I agree. I think the 1 buck rule, and I don't even care about the baiting, ban crap either. I do think that we should possibly look at, try it for a year, try it for 2 years. Because I read something where the actual percentage of people that use both buck tags it's like 17% or 12% that fill both tags.
Mm-hmm.
So if only minute people are filling both tags, that means there's like 80% that shouldn't give a crap, because on average they're not filling 2 tags. Most of the time I don't either, as far as my buck tags, but yeah, I think we need to try different things. I think they need to be more open to try different things.
Yeah, I think we're kind of stuck in the Stone Age, and they don't want to listen to us as hunters. And I've said it before, like, I get it. Here in Michigan, if I see it happen in my lifetime, I'll be surprised. But to move November 15th, opening day of gun season, push it back a little bit.
I think they should move it to November 30th.
I think you need to exactly end of November, beginning of December. Just try it out. I get it. You're going to piss off a lot of people, but we need to start doing something different. And we don't need to do it for X affinity years. Just try it out for like 5 years, 3
Yeah.
years, whatever. Just we got to
Be
do
open
something
to it.
different.
Like I think I was listening to one of your podcasts where Ted Nugent actually came and expressed his concerns and gave them ideas. And if you blow Ted Nugent off, I mean, it's a foregone conclusion that we're pretty much screwed unless there's another regime that comes in. If you're not going to listen to Ted, you're not going to listen to anybody, you
Mm-mm.
know.
Yeah, the fact that Ted Nugent comes to town and talks about, and he didn't even, I don't even think when he made that announcement, like when that he went to Lansing, I think he officially was still living in Texas.
Yeah, I think he was still at his ranch in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. So for him to come back to Michigan and make that statement and for them to still not listen to him, that shows you first off how much you gotta love Uncle Ted and how much he
Yep.
loves the state of Michigan, which he still loves the state of Michigan, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. But for them not to listen to him, like
At all.
I guess if you want to call him as the representative of hunters in the state of Michigan,
It's
he
pretty much
feels
the
our
hunter, the
pain.
rep for the United States. If you
Yeah.
kind of think about it, what he's done
Mhm.
for everybody, you know.
Right.
But the fact you won't acknowledge it is it's just mind blowing, you
And
know.
I noticed on this article, and I'm actually going to read more through this, and we'll have a show about it. But everything that we were saying as hunters that we would love to see change, especially the 1 buck rule. I noticed, let's just say 10 things that we pitched to them, they approved one. And I don't even think it was one that we wanted approved. It was more of, all right, we'll extend the archery season in the upper UP to like the
Yeah,
end
and
of
then the youth
January.
hunt. I think they changed the youth hunt to where from starting next year they can't shoot bucks anymore.
Yeah, that was it. And they changed the Liberty rule, the Liberty
Yep, the Liberty
hunt.
hunt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like they changed like one or two things that were like you're really not solving anything at the end of the day. You're
Yeah,
just
because the
kind of
percentage of the youth that were actually killing bucks was so small in actuality, you know. But like my kid laughed about it. He's like, "Man, I'm happy I got my youth in. I'm 17 now, you know. Like I
right.
got to take advantage of it because I got, $2 out of it." He says, "I feel really bad for the new kids," and I said, it's just a way for them, you know. Even if they did that for say 6 years, and then maybe go back to where they can shoot 1 buck for a year, because it's become so, like you said, social medialized that not being able to shoot a buck it's like now what the kids strive for. If I can't shoot a buck, I'm not hunting. I'll wait till I'm 17 or 18 where I can shoot a buck. By then they're totally out of hunting. They don't even care. So, it's a crapshoot whether or not they'll even want to do it when they legally can, you know.
Well, then you also run into this problem with the buck population. I swear, like here in Michigan, it's like 1 buck to every 20,000 does. Basically, I'm over
Yep.
exaggerating. Don't get me wrong, but I'm
No,
just
it's
saying.
probably close.
Yeah, but
It's probably close.
we if you want to look at the trophy management side of it of bucks, yeah, we have 2 bucks, but we're shooting the first thing we see because there's just not a bunch of bucks out here in Michigan, and we're shooting them at a young age. We can't let them get
They're
to a
not
next
maturing.
level. So
Yeah.
it's like, what the fuck's the point? So we're
Yeah.
shooting anything that fucking moves as a buck,
Yeah. That's pretty much what it is.
and
You know.
we're not fixing. Like I said, if you're looking at the trophy management aspect of it all, that's the biggest problem.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure everybody in Michigan in 5 years, if you could say the chances of you seeing a 100-inch buck, 2 or 3 of them every year, probably be doing cartwheels.
Exactly.
But to get to that point, they're like, "No, I don't want to wait that long." And
And
I'm like, go to another state then.
right. And I think I even texted you this. Michigan has the opportunity to be the great state of hunting like it
Oh
used to be
yeah.
back in the days. We have the ability to do it because
Yeah.
we have Michigan, obviously it's just one state, but we have like 3 different states in our own state. We have
It is.
the lower UP, which is a lot of farmland. You want to look at it like more of Iowa, whatever. You have Michigan, the upper part of Michigan, of nice pine trees. It's more of like a deep woods, Pennsylvania, if you want to look at it like that. And then you look at the UP. That's very similar to hunting
like
in
Canada
Maine,
and
New
Alaska.
Hampshire.
It's all cedars and swamps.
Exactly.
A lot
so
of it.
we have the ability to grow mature deer. We just don't do it because our stupid government in the DNR world, they don't want to listen to us as hunters, and it's getting fucking annoying.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to lose money.
No, they want to fill their pockets.
Yep. And then blame the hunters for not doing
enough.
doing enough. You're not out there killing the deer. You're out there killing the wrong deer. Whatever.
And
It goes on and on and on. Basically,
I swear it's kind of like them just kind of spitting in our face, where it's like
it is.
they think they know all, and they're the best, and we have all these degrees from these major collegiate Division I schools, and it's like, okay, you can have all those degrees and you can know deer more than me as a hunter, but I'm telling you, me as a hunter, knowing the true deer out there in the woods, this is what you need to fix, and this is how we think we can start things. And you basically saying, nope, fuck you, we know what's right, and you're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, I mean, they probably got masters in biology and agriculture and all this stuff, which they pretty much need to have, but they're not out hunting them like we are. I think we as hunters are more on a personal level with the deer.
Oh, that's
They're
perfect.
more on a scientific side of it. There's part that we don't see, but there's a big part that they have no idea about.
And they can say, well, we know exactly what we're talking about. No, all you're doing is capturing these deer and putting trackers on them and all this other crap. And great, awesome. But you're not out there one-on-one with all the deer that we're seeing.
Yeah, you out there in the field studying them every single day. I highly doubt it.
Exactly. And
because they're not going to pay for that.
No.
Our state's not paying for that.
Of course not. Why would they do that?
Yeah, that would only make sense, that they actually were out in the field doing their job. They're like, holy crap, these guys were right all this time. We're not going to say anything. We screwed up, kind of, they're not going to bite their teeth and they're not going to take their lashings. They're just going to keep on going what they're going. And if something good happens, they're going to turn around and go, yeah, we told you.
I've said this on another podcast where I was like, if you really want to look at a liberal person or a liberal community, whatever, look at Michigan DNR. They'll go straight out to the news outlets and we'll say, we need this to change. We need to fix this. And this is our big problem. Yeah. We're going to do this to fix it. Behind closed doors, they're not going to do shit. They don't fucking care. They're just trying to save face with everyone out there through the media and stuff like that.
All
but
the politicians.
At the end of the day, exactly. All they care about is feeding their pockets with money. And they're realizing, I don't know what it's going to take for them to realize what they're doing.
I think if they actually cared, they would look at the southern states that are doing really well, like the Iowas, Missouri, even Ohio. My best friend Dan's son lives southwest Ohio, and basically the West Virginia border. And he sends me pictures all the time, and I'm just like, Jesus, mother of God! If I seen every one of the bucks on his property are shooters. And he's like, yeah. He's like, this is just normal here. And I'm like, shit, you remember what it's like living in Michigan? And he's like, yeah, that's why I moved. He's got to come back every 3 months because he river guides for fishing up north. So,
I think
and that pays super good. So,
yeah, I think a good state for them to kind of get a good blueprint is Illinois.
Yeah, they've been doing it for generations.
Mm-hmm. And my buddy that we actually, when we had him on the show, he made a good point. I've actually been saying it myself now, is because he lived here in Michigan. He said the difference between Illinois and Michigan when it comes to bucks, a 2-year-old buck in Michigan is going to act like a 10-year-old buck. A 2-year-old buck in Illinois is going to act like a 2-year-old buck in Illinois. Yep. Because they know that, all right, I'm going to live for a little while. I can kind of strut and make some stupid mistakes here and there because they're not going to shoot me. Michigan, well, shit. If you have antlers, you're fucking dead.
If you got a hair on your testicle, you better start running
Basically.
because they're going to have probably 30 rounds in a half a square mile coming. It's just like, Jesus God,
Like, what the fuck?
and I have to laugh because when I go out to my buddy's farm, west of Baldwin, he's got a bunch of property inherited from his aunt, but it's you knew when somebody was shooting at a buck over there because it literally sounded like Vietnam. It was boom, 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 and then there'd be a hesitation, and then the next guy you could tell it's a different caliber. Boom, 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 and then you hear the reload. Boom, 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 and I'm like, yeah, yeah, you'll never see that deer again. He is gone. You'll be lucky if you ever see him ever.
Right.
And it's probably a spike at that. He's probably wondering what in the hell's going on.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think you can. It's to the point where we can't leave it up to the DNR anymore. It's almost like we have to take it in our own hands and do it.
Yeah, we gotta start something because it's just
Yeah,
I don't know.
we got to start. With the unbalance, and it's not even healthy with all the,
Mm-hmm.
Healthy for the deer population, you know.
Well, Dave, getting here towards
Yep,
that, I
you're
didn't
good,
realize
brother.
we'd be getting close to the end of the show here, but you want to do the 5 rapid fire questions here?
Sure.
All right. What is one state you want to hunt in that you haven't hunted yet?
God, that's a tough one. Well, one's Ohio, but I'm going there this fall for my kid, my buddy's kid. Um, my buddy Dan's got a big lease down in Missouri that I want to eventually get on, where he's shooting all these 170 classers. But I think really I would like to. It would have to be Kentucky or Iowa. And I know Iowa's hard to get into, but just the overall size and I want to shoot a freaky buck. I heard you talk about it. I think it was Tuesday nights. I want a buck that just looks like it was on steroids and got ran over by a semi. Just
Right.
just points going all different directions and just weird, just the crazy non-typical. Yeah, it would probably between Kentucky and Iowa. Maybe throw in Kansas too, but
Yeah,
I'd probably lean more to Iowa.
that's a good one. All right, so you can't pick your state. I have but what state would you move to solely for hunting?
Oh God, anywhere but here.
That's a good answer.
I mean, I mean, I'm not going to move to Ohio because the Buckeyes suck ass.
Oh, that's right. You're a Michigan fan. I said this. No Michigan fans ever coming on the show.
Busted.
Yeah.
I know it's a cliche, but I've always wanted to live in Alaska.
No, that's a good one. I actually talked about living out in Alaska once.
Yeah, I've really wanted to do. I'd really love to do like a just go out and do your own grizzly or moose hunt.
That'd be amazing.
I think it'd just be sick with a bow.
Well, then that actually leads me to the third question here: is what animal is on your bucket list to hunt, and with what animal? I mean, with what weapon?
Well, it wouldn't be a gun. I'd probably use a slingshot before I used a gun. I would love to go up into the Gila in New Mexico and shoot a monster elk before I die, or a muley. I would love to shoot a muley too.
That would be sick.
That would be sick. Just a big, nasty mainframe muley, just to have
Yeah.
on my wall and say, "Bitches, look what I got." you know. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be a toss up between those two.
All right.
Because I pretty much ruled out getting a Michigan elk tag just for the fact there's too many damn rules. like my father-in-law got it. You pretty much got to have a guide. There's tons of rules, which I get because there's a lot of idiots out there that just kind of do what they want, you know, and hunt on private or whatever. You got to have the regulations, which is fine, but I'll be dead before I probably draw a Michigan elk tag. And the quality of elk here, size-wise, are nothing like up in New Mexico,
Right.
you know.
And don't get me wrong, it'd be nice to shoot an elk here in Michigan, the homegrown state here, but
Yeah.
it's not the same. I feel like if I'm going to shoot an elk, I want to do it the typical stereotype of out west type elk.
Yeah. I want to do like a stalk and hunt kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I know like the ones up north, like my father-in-law did, you know, they pretty much just beat down farmers' door or, you know, neighbors' doors and like, hey, they're like, yep, they went out the night before. There was a herd here. All right, we're going here. And yep, there they are. Boom, done. And that's kind
Right.
of, you know, which is great because if you don't, you're never going to ever get another tag in your life. So you better bring a howitzer or, you know, an Apache helicopter or something, because you better take your opportunity, because you're not going to get another one here, you know.
Do you have any hunting superstitions? And if so, what are they?
Yes, I have a lucky arrow.
A lucky
That's-
arrow.
Yes, I have a lucky arrow marked number 1. And if that arrow doesn't go with me, I don't go in the woods. I will look for that arrow. And a broadhead. I have a broadhead. That's my
You,
lucky broadhead.
you don't hunt with it, it just stays in the quiver.
Oh, I hunt with it. That's my killing arrow.
Oh, okay.
And if that hog I shot with my lucky arrow, I shoot another group until I find one that's my favorite arrow, and then I mark a 1 on that one. And if I accidentally, because my quiver only holds 3, so if I ended up out in the woods and I look on my quiver and there's not a 1 on the marker on the fletching, I'll get right down and go back and get it.
Hmm.
It's just a confidence thing with the arrow,
Right.
you know.
No, I get it. All right. Last final question here. What is one thing that you can think of that we as a hunting community should or could do to improve the hunting community as a whole?
I think more adults need to, and I know it's tough, especially with families. I think an adult needs to do more to get youth out, even if it's not your own kid. Just introduce them to archery, period. You know, it's kind of like vice versa with me. I was hunter until I got into competition archery and realized I love it. And the vice versa for the other thing. You get a kid just shooting a bow. I mean, and forbeit whatever, a gun, I could care less. If it's going to get that kid out there and hunt and be outside, you know, that's for the better. And it's solely on the parents and the adults to do that, because the kids aren't going to do that themselves.
Right.
You know, those days where, like you and I, when we were kids, like you were saying before in one of your other podcasts, the hunting camp thing that was like a huge thing is gone. You know, me and my father-in-law and my sons, uh, when we go up to the cottage before he passed, that was something that we all looked forward to. And it wasn't even so much as killing a deer, it was the experience. And my buddy Dan and I used to do the same thing with our kids before I married my wife. I mean, his son and my oldest son, we just made it a guarantee that next year we're going to do some kind of hunt. Everybody's coming over, we're staying the night, we're going to watch hunting movies, we're going to tell lies, and then be excited to get up and go out. You know, that needs to be more in the family side pushed. And if not the family side, we need to grab kids and go, hey, you want to go hunting? You know, we got a bunch of us. You're more than welcome invited. Just invite the kids, I think, would probably entice intrigue them to want to
Right.
try it. And then who knows? They might get hooked. I'm sure the first time you go out in the woods, like when I was, you know, you see a deer or shoot a deer, you're like, oh, shoot, it's like crack. I feel like an addict, you know, because I can't wait till next year to do the stupid thing again, you
Right.
know. But yeah, And I don't know if that'll ever happen, to be honest. I mean, sadly as it is, it's just like the generation of family is way different now. It's more corporate, almost like a corporate run family now than a family.
Mhm.
You know,
Well,
if you,
we're
you're
in
good,
my
man.
on my side of the family, we're starting off our first tradition that we're actually going to be doing is the day before opening day is we're getting a family together and the family that we hunt with on their property that we're so grateful for them to allow us to hunt on their property. They have this nice little trailer cabin type deal. We're
Mm-hmm.
getting together. We're playing some poker. We're playing around the bonfire, playing some cornhole, and just talking the shit and hanging out. And we're gonna make it this nice, fun day, and get ready for the opening day of archery season and hunting season in general. And we're looking forward to it. And I'm excited for it because it's gonna be our first time doing it. Our buddy, his grandson, I think he's 12, he's 13 now.
Oh boy.
He's coming, so we're looking forward to him to come and play. We're gonna play some change poker and some euchre, and just hang out. And you get excited for the opening day of archery season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the kids nowadays lost the insight that it's not only about going out and hunting. It's that whole experience around it.
Exactly.
You know, the hunting camp experience, which a lot of my kids or my son's friends will never experience that. They have no idea when you try to talk to them. They're like, "Oh, that sounds dumb," and then you go and do it, and you're kind of like, "Holy crap, we can do this next year!" You know, and it's like, "Oh, you
Right.
want to play on your tablet?" You know, because we got no signal up at our cottage. So if you're into video games, you probably shouldn't come up, and that's by design.
Right.
You know, it's go outside, shoot your BB guns. You know,
Spend time outside with friends and family. And
yeah.
well, buddy, I just want
Yep.
to say thank you for coming on the show.
Hey,
Thank you for
anytime.
taking time out of your family. I want you to get back to them. Any
No, you're
lasting
good.
words before I let you go?
What's that?
Any lasting words before I let you go?
I'm ready for October 1st.
It's like, let me say this. Let me see. Let me see. I have my countdown on my phone here. Let me get to it. Where's it
I'm
at?
trying to not. I quit doing that about 2 weeks ago, looking at the count the days because it's pissing me off that we're still in August.
I don't look at it for like January till August, and then because it just makes me sad when I look at it.
Yeah.
But now we're like 1 month, 22 days, 8 hours, 56 minutes, and 45 seconds, 44 seconds.
Yeah. See, I get depressed after deer season when I go out and scout after season in the winter, like February, March. And then I'm
The
like, oh man, dude, look, check this out. Oh yeah, boy, next year we're gonna have to check this spot out. And then it's like, holy shit, we got like almost like 9 months to go before we can do that.
I'll play this video clip and I'll let you go.
All right, bud.
This video clip how I feel when hunting season's over.
I want to die, dude. What the hell is going on with you, man? Something's going on. It's like my heart hurts. Let's go, method, now. I'm sorry. Now. I'm sorry, man. I'm just so sad. Stop.
I want to commit suicide.
I'm just so sad.
I'm so sad.
That's
That is
how
how
I
it
feel.
feels. It is how it feels. You know, that adrenaline pumps you up for what, 8 months, and then you turn around, October 1st comes, and then before you know it, it's over, and you're like, shit.
Yeah, you look forward to that. Oh yes. Oh, it's so long away and it takes forever. And then finally
Yeah.
once it's here, you literally wake up and then the first day of archery season, you go to bed and then you wake back up and it's over.
Yeah. Especially when you're stupid and you put trail cams out early and you see a bunch of huge bucks, and then it really makes the days go long,
Oh,
real long.
it drags and
It drags
drags.
because I'm like, man, I hope all three of those big bastards are still there when I go set my stand.
Well,
But
buddy, again,
all right,
I just
man.
want to say thank you again for coming on, and I'll definitely
Anytime,
text
man.
you.
Anytime. I like talking to you. It's always a good time of bull crap and lies. So
Same here, man.
all right,
Get
man.
get back to your family, man.
All right, have a good night.
See ya.
Yeah.
What just happened here with my thing? A little technical difficulties here. I have no idea what I did to zoom in on my computer here, but I did. Anyways, thank everyone for tuning in for tonight's show. Sorry for the guest that couldn't come on for tonight. Like I said, some scheduling problems. He's been bouncing around from state to state doing some personal things. But we're definitely getting back on the show and covering New Mexico again. Dave, thanks again for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it. And everyone out there, make sure to use the code GP10 to get 10% discount off Gilly Putz products. Definitely go check out MAGNUS Broadheads. Also, go check out Grizz Media. Love them out there. Love Jesse. Can't wait for him to help us relaunch our Whitetail Advantage. We'll be working with him here in the next couple of months, so I'm looking forward to that. Also, make sure if you can go check out Carbon TV and give us a great review, it'd be greatly appreciated. With that being said, we'll see everyone next week. We're covering in New York, and we're going to be starting with Adam. So we're looking forward to that. And everyone make sure to put in your quarter in the slot machine.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.